Welcome to a busted play. An illegal use of hands to the face short.
Fred Warner has recently signed an extension with the San Francisco 49ers, Jake. What do you think of this new contract for Fred Warner?
I think it's well deserved. Fred Warner is one of the best coverage players in the league. Like, he is one of the best pass coverage players at any position on defense in the entire NFL. Uh, Definitely earned to be the highest paid linebacker in the NFL. I mean, now when that happens, there's going to be five other linebackers that just somehow get extensions now because they contacted their agents like, I don't like that this guy who's in my draft class or draft class ahead of me or behind me is this much. I need like $1 more or $1 million more just to spite it so I can be the highest paid linebacker. Uh, but Fred Warner, integral piece to that 49ers defense now. He's going to be a big part of their success in 2021, getting them back to the Super Bowl. I really, really like that they went ahead and re-signed him because other teams just, it seems like they don't value linebacker at all, and they just let guys like him walk away.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like other teams do value linebacker. I don't know about this. I have to say I'm questioning it. But in terms of like who are the other linebackers in the league, when we're talking about off-ball linebackers here, not edge players, edge rushers, that are like close to him, I would say Bobby Wagner's a guy. I look at the two guys in Tampa in Levante David and Devin White, and then just the last guy I would say is Darius Leonard. But even then, Darius Leonard kind of
Oh,
is
Darius
actually.
Leonard, like news came out today that Darius Leonard is seeking a contract extension, so that just fits in with what I said. As soon as he saw Fred Warner get paid, it's like, all right, well now it's my turn.
I mean, and it's fair. I think, and
Oh
actually,
yeah.
what I was gonna say there is, well, I mean, Darius Leonard like can do anything. He could rush the passer
Hmm.
too. But the interesting thing is he's probably the only one out of those guys I mentioned, and really anyone in the league that I would even make the argument is a better linebacker than Fred Warner. But really, with how Fred Warner has played in the past few years, you can't argue it. I feel like he's
Hmm.
a guaranteed top three guy. The other guy that people would probably throw in there is Bobby Wagner normally. Uh, Bobby Wagner's just getting a little long in the tooth recently, in terms of
Oh nice.
NFL age, and that's the only thing that I'd have to say is holding him back a little bit compared to these other guys. Now, so in terms of the player they kept, I think it's good retaining him. Discussing the actual contract itself is interesting. In terms of this first year that he'll be with the team, now this is an extension. So I'm not sure when his contract was up, if it was up at the end of this season or
I
two
think
years
it's
from
up
now.
at the end of this season.
But when you think about what the salary cap is currently at, I think we're at roughly $190 million. We're paying, and then I have to ask myself, okay, prioritize positional needs. What is our most important position? Most people would probably say quarterback. And then after that, you could go a lot of places. But I feel like linebacker, like off ball linebacker especially, is one that's going to fall further down the list. And when you talk about just paying the first guy at off ball linebacker, when no matter what scheme you're running, you need at least two guys to start on the field, maybe even three in some schemes. Um, I think it's an interesting decision to pay that guy $19 million when you know that that's going to be a tenth of your cap. He is a really good player, but sometimes I do question the value of players for what you could get with that money, say, in free agency in terms of addressing just adding a ton of depth and like spreading the wealth a little bit. No, we want to retain guys, but sometimes I just don't feel like it's worth it.
I I can't agree with that. I mean, the salary cap is gonna go up after this season with fans in the stands, more revenue being made by the NFL. The cap's gonna shoot up back to where it's supposed to be. Maybe not fully where it was expected to be at 2 years ago, but the NFL is going to see an influx of new revenue coming in. I mean, they still made money last season, but it wasn't enough, and that's why the salary caps got lowered to what they are now. And I think the 49ers are expecting it to not be a tenth of their cap at the point next season or even 2 seasons from now.
Well, every team didn't make money last year. But you're right. The salary cap will increase. I'll say 6 years from now, in the final year of the deal, if he's still playing at this level, great deal then. But in terms of these first few years of the contract, I don't know if I love it. At the same time, I'm also the guy that's just trying to think about the numbers. Like, the fact that Patrick Mahomes is going to be making $50 million a year is kind of crazy. But at the same time, I'm also kind of like, well, by the time that starts, that's probably only going to be a quarter of the cap. And in terms of how much success Patrick Mahomes actually affects that team, like, I think I'd be willing to pay him even more than they did, like closer to 33% of the cap, like a third of it or something. Because I think that he means a lot. Whereas an off-ball linebacker, I don't know how much it can change. I love Fred Warner as a player. I really don't want to get that misconstrued at all. But that's the one place I have some questions in terms of contracts in the future. But I mean, Bobby Wagner making 18 million a year. I don't know. We'll have to see where this team's looking more like 3 years down the road, obviously, to see how this contract turned out.
Oh yeah,
But
definitely.
But yeah, no. Further down the line, I like it. These first few years, it kind of limits your movement, though.
I th- I don't really think the Niners are looking for a lot of movement though. They kind of have like if you look at their draft, almost every single older guy that's on their team, they drafted a younger guy behind him. They have Alex Mack and Trent Williams, and they've drafted young guys in the later rounds that could be backups for them. I'm not expecting like a fifth round guy to step in for Trent Williams and just have the same production as him, but to be mentored by him and to be able to just slide into that position, maybe not as seamlessly as I'm like making it out to be because it wouldn't be. But the Niners have a great track record when it comes to drafting. And I think that's what's going to save them in the long run. And I think that's why they think they can make a move like this.
I'd like that. I don't know how much. I don't know. You're right. The Niners have had really good drafts in recent years. And that's one of the reasons that we think that they're probably going to be a top team in the NFL next season. And as they have really been in the years they've been healthy. But with that being said, I don't know if you can rely on your draft coming out great every year. I definitely think there's teams that we can expect to have better drafts than other teams. Like if we're looking at teams for bad examples.
Vegas.
Yes, exactly. But with that being said, even though the Niners have had 3 good drafts in a row or so, they could actually be like, okay, you sold your soul for that. Now you got to have 3 drafts in a row that suck. And if they have 3 drafts in a row that suck, and now they say, oh, shoot, we don't have young talent that's like capable of replacing the good guys that we had drafted before that are now looking for second contracts, there's a lot of guys that are going to have to get paid in the near future. And that's where the roster could become very different very quickly. With that being said, if they continue their draft success, then you're right. I will have nothing to complain about. However, I believe that's a really difficult thing to do in the modern NFL and really any age of the NFL.
Yeah. Well, there's also another scenario too. Niners just keep winning, and guys just will be paid less to stay on that team. I mean, the 2 guys in Tampa, they could have made what Fred Warner's contract be even more if they would have gotten broken off somewhere else, which they definitely could have. They could have gotten a bag somewhere else, but they decided to stay back. And I think that lowered what Fred Warner's contract could be. Because if he would have looked at the market and be like, oh, these guys are getting paid 19 and a half. Why am I not getting paid 21 or something like that? It'd be even more.
Whose contract are you looking at specifically there?
Probably Shaq Barrett's.
Okay, but he's not playing the same position.
Okay, well, Levante David too. He would have definitely gotten broken off. He's a little bit older, but he would have gotten a bag somewhere else.
I don't know what he would have gotten. That would have been really interesting to see what price he fetched. Because I can't even say that I remember off the top of my head right now what he got from Tampa. Was it near? I have no idea. Do you know what it was near?
I think somewhere to 12 mil. Hold
12
on.
mil? Let's see. We'll find
Yeah.
out for the fans. That's what I was thinking
Uh,
too, though. Actually,
two-year, $25 million contract.
yeah,
So
12 and a
that's
half.
12 and
Okay.
a half.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he probably would have gotten paid more. I don't 15. I don't know if that boosts his up from 19 though. I think
I
he
think
still probably
it
gets
would
19.
have it would have raised the floor for the linebacker market, and overall that would have brought the ceiling up, I think. I really do, but just getting rid of that, if the Niners keep winning, guys will want to be paid less to stay there. So if they find success with that and they think, all right, our key pieces on defense are Fred Warner, and we're gonna eventually have to pay Nick Bosa, and we gave Trent Williams a lot of money, pay George Kittle, and then run off Trey Lance's rookie QB contract, and
That
then win with that, and then hope that the guys that are part of that core will take less money in order to win Super Bowls with that team.
I will say I wasn't even actually thinking about the quarterback situation while we were having this discussion. If their plan is 100% Jimmy Garoppolo is gone by the time next season starts, this is actually much more okay. If Jimmy Garoppolo is still on the roster, that's when it like the cap hit really starts to make a dent in it. If you're just rocking with Trey Lance on his rookie deal, though, you're getting through the first 3 out of 5 years in that in the new contract for Fred Warner, while Trey Lance is making near nothing being the starting quarterback. That actually helps it a ton, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
because when your quarterback's on a rookie deal, you can pay a lot of guys just slightly more to make sure that you keep them around, and that is a very helpful thing. But with that being said, then they need to make sure that they don't have Jimmy Garoppolo on roster next season when Fred Warner's new contract actually begins.
Yeah, I think that's what their plan is too. I think they might rock it out this last season with Jimmy G, or maybe even transfer over to Trey Lance halfway through it. We've already talked extensively about that, so not gonna waste a lot of breath on it.
Well, yeah, but we
But
haven't talked about it recently. Is Jimmy Garoppolo? Because I'm still I have to say my opinions have changed on a lot of things over the offseason. If they're winning games during the season though, and Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't get hurt, I'm still
no, it'd
of
be
the boat
stupid
that
if they're
I don't want them to change the
yeah,
quarterback if they're winning games.
yeah, it'd be stupid if they're winning games and they decide, well, our plan was to get Trey Lance in there at week 10 and we're like 8-2 or
Or
something like
nine
that.
and one, like yeah,
Yeah. Well, we still need to get him in there. It's like, no, that's stupid. There's no point to that. Just let him sit the whole season if Jimmy G looks like he's going to put you on a playoff run.
yeah,
But that just contract wise, though, having Trey Lance in their back pocket for the next 5 years helps them a lot.
yeah, absolutely. Uh, that will help them a ton. And I guess even that fifth year option, that won't hurt them too bad. And with that being said, then they'll only have that last year of the Fred Warner deal left. So
Mm-hmm.
if all this works out the way they want it to, which we're making the assumption that means Jimmy Garoppolo isn't on the team next season, then this contract's okay. I probably would have went for around like 16 million for Warner, but if you've got the QB sale going on with that rookie contract, 19 is
Use the
definitely
tiered,
doable.
yeah. You got to use that rookie QB contract to your advantage. You got to use it to your advantage. It's like, all right, you want money, we can give you money now. But in 4 or 5 years, don't be asking for money because we aren't going to have any. If Trey Lance pans out, if the QB pans out, we got no money to give you.
Yeah. Okay. Last thing of note here before we go. Just yes or no. Don't even need to
All
explain
right.
it.
Okay.
Is the best window of opportunity for a team 100%
during a quarterback's rookie contract?
Yes.
I'm going to say no, but that's all I got.
Y'all set?
Yep. I think we could cut this here.